So you had talked about a point of differentiation, and I think one thing that I definitely wanted to talk to you about was differentiating yourself through having awesome copy. Now, I'll share a recent story. I had had you guys write one of my recent listings. The package was called "The Baddest Brand on the Block." And one thing that really stood out to me was the attention to detail. It was keyword rich, but it wasn't. I'd never felt like when I was reading there were stuffed keywords in there. It flowed really well. The product I was selling was fun, and the language reflected that. I thought I was a decent copywriter until I got a listing written by you, and I realized that I have a lot of improvements. So, can you talk about, in the title, in the bullets, and in the search terms, how can people differentiate themselves and really stand out from the pack?
Sure. So I think before you ever get into actually sitting down to write your listing, it's worthwhile to do some thinking, ask some questions, do some research, and identify where you can differentiate yourself and what it is that you're trying to communicate as a brand and about your product. So by doing that research and thinking, okay, well, what does make my product different? Or even if my product is nearly identical, what are my business's values that I want to really shine through in my product listing? And so by being really clear about that, it will make it much easier to then sit down and write and capture those ideas. It can also be very helpful to think about who you're actually writing to. I think that we make the common mistake of sitting down to write and you look at a blank screen, and so it's just you and your computer, and you're not really remembering that it's you and your computer now, but you're really trying to actually communicate with another person. And so by having a clear image of who that person is, you're going to be able to direct whatever it is that you're putting on the page to their concerns, to their interests, to the points that they would want to know, and really putting them at the center. Because ultimately, people are shopping for products to solve problems. So if you aren't making that connection between the problem and the customer that's going to be making that purchase, then you're missing out on an opportunity to capture more of those sales.